I want to. I don't know how much time you want to go here, David, but
why don't we just go for just questions? It's been a long night for the
yeah,
candidates,
sure,
especially. So
okay.
Why don't we just take a couple questions?
I've got so much more to say, but I'm happy to answer your questions. I appreciate you very much.
Would you just talk briefly about voter fraud, what the DA is not doing or doing or not doing? You know,
as far as I know, they haven't.
There was a Democratic primary with the.
And I don't know that they've done anything about it. Certainly, I'm not privy to any information that they've even launched an investigation. But voter fraud and public corruption now, again, going back to the Constable investigation, voter fraud, public corruption, those are things now that are starting to get to a point where they're going to have to rise on the priority list of the district attorney's office. You know, forever they've just kind of been a low priority. It can't be that way anymore. It can't be that way anymore. If we can't trust the outcome and the results of our elections, then where are we? So that's something that I know Commissioner Mayfield feels very strongly about. We'll work with him on it, and we'll make it a priority.
Ken, you had a question for Lana?
You're in the appeals court.
Yes.
The cases that come up to you, if the lower court's decision is changed in any way or reversed, are there any repercussions that go back to that lower court as a result? Is there anything that will change that behavior, or are they allowed to continue as if that decision wasn't reversed or changed?
Well, I assume that you're referring to the situation where a trial court judge incorrectly decides the law to the point where the appellate court believes that it needs to go back.
Right.
And there's no sanction, you know, of the judge. It really is just up to the people to you know, to pay attention and you know, candidates like help candidates like Matt Rinaldi, who, you know, I know is conservative, and I know what he stated at many times what his judicial philosophy is, to strictly interpret the Constitution and laws as written. And you know, in elections, you know, hopefully these things will come out when that judge has an opponent. To talk about the reversal rate. You know, as a trial court judge, I can probably just count on, you know, 3 fingers. You know, in 15 years, almost 15 years that I was a trial court judge, where a case came back to me that I had to retry. And you know, those things, sometimes, you know, I made a decision as best I could based on everything that was in front of me, and sometimes the law is not that clear, and so you make, and there's not, it may be that based on the set of facts in front of the judge, the trial court judge, that there's no law right on point, but the judge just makes a decision that comes closest to the law that we have, and hope that the appellate court agrees with you. So, but then there are those judges who will just go off on their own without deference to the law. But no, there's no sanction when that happens. We just have to pay attention and hopefully defeat them in the next election.
Is there a clear place to be able to find out?
Speak up, please.
Is there a clear place to be able to find the reversal rates on judges?
You know, I haven't really looked at that. I'm sure that you know that.
There's not. If you have access to Westlaw or know a lawyer, you can do a search for each judge. But let me just say, the reversal rates in criminal courts are going to be a lot more relevant, because when you see a high reversal rate, it's going to say a lot about the judge. In a civil court, they could be deceptive, Because if a judge fails to filter out a frivolous lawsuit that he should have before trial, that's not appealable. But if he lets it go to trial and it shouldn't have gone to trial, then you're not going to see a reversal. So he can, in a civil court, a judge can get a low reversal rate by avoiding the tough decisions. But for a criminal court, I think it's going to be more relevant.
I appreciate the fact you cannot comment on any cases, but could you comment on cases, say, in other states, like maybe Arizona? Any opinions or thoughts on that? Any case that may be pending out in Arizona like that? No?
Well, I'm just, I don't know all the facts.
Okay.
I
just thought I'd give you a chance. I'm going to ask about that.
I have my own very strong opinions about what's going on in Arizona.
Does Arizona have a snowball's chance, just yes or no? Just from your learned experience?
Depends on, depends on, that goes, higher up, and that's another reason why it's so important that we get, that we defeat Obama in 2012, and definitely have an opportunity to appoint liberal judges. That's really why it's so important, because that's, I haven't kept up. I've been too busy campaigning myself to know where it is in the process.
All right, let's just take one more question.
I have a question for Danny. I've heard Commissioner Mayfield speak about the lack of transparency and the lack of Watkins' willingness to meet with the Commissioner's Court about budget. I personally want my DA to prosecute, but the administrative part is important too. So could you speak on what's happened in the last few months, not willing to meet with Commissioner's Court, and the lack of transparency on budget, and blaming people like Ken Mayfield for wanting to cut staff?
Well, that's his MO, and he has basically, his quote was, "This is sacred ground, and we're untouchable. This is sacred ground." And every department has been affected, and everybody has got to figure out a way to tighten their belts and deal with this economic situation that we're all dealing with. And the decisions have to be made based on what's in the best interest of the citizens of this county. And he's just been unwilling to make some of the tougher decisions.
I think I actually heard Watkins say he was too busy to go into Commissioner's Court and discuss the budget at a meeting with Mayfield.
Well, I haven't heard him say that, but I've heard him say he's been too busy to debate me, so it doesn't surprise me, because that's been the excuse. I'm too busy. And I don't know if he's afraid to debate me, or if he doesn't think that I'm a threat. But we're going to get our opportunity on September 23rd. There will be a debate at the Dallas Bar Association, and that's one that he couldn't avoid. He's got to show up there, and we've had several others where he's just been too busy.
Is that open to the public?
It is, but seating's going to be limited. And
Will his staff be allowed, his staff supporters be allowed to come into that, or how will that?
Will what?
His staff supporters that tend to show up and rally for him, will they be allowed at that meeting?
It's open to the public. It's just a matter of seating and who's going to get in there first and grab a seat, because it will be packed.
We'll be at the Velo.
We'll be at the Velo on the 23rd. It's a luncheon. So that's at least one that he's agreed to show up at.
All right, well, why don't we stop right there again. Thank both of you.